intersection of Lindale and 26 at Common Roads Cafe. We have mixing business and social activism, where the owner of Common Roads Cafe put on a sign welcoming Muslims in 4 different languages, in Arabic and Somali and what have you. And as you can see, the sign will say, "We hate has no business here." And this sign really triggered some discussion and inviting a conversation about how businesses are getting involved with the community and responding the hate rhetoric and Islamophobia that is spouting and all over the nation and the national media and what have you. And we're going to have a conversation with the owner, Dan Schwartzmans, about. I know Common Roos is not just a cafe or a business. It's a community business. Something new about taking such action. Tell us about the background of how this sign ended up on the front of your door.
We were paying attention to what's happening, obviously, and we're increasingly concerned about the rhetoric we were hearing nationally about, coming from most of the Republican presidential candidates, that was especially fearful about the Muslims and Muslim community in general, but also earlier and still today about immigrants and especially refugees. And it's just something we're not comfortable with. And we have Muslim friends, we have Muslim customers, we have an awareness that reasonable people were fearful of what the general public was thinking. And we're a part of the general public, and we have a community meeting place and a wall that a lot of people walk past. And I think we had the same thought questioning of, does it make sense to put something up or not? Is that the right thing to do? And we decided that silence wasn't the right answer with this, and that when we're hearing so much hateful rhetoric on the national stage, it's really important that regular people say, this isn't us, and actively disagree in a public way. So we decided to do that. So we talked about what we wanted to say, and we came up with "Hate has no business here," because I really think as a business we have a role to say, one, to say this is hate, which that might be a political thing to say, but I don't think it should be very controversial. I mean, when you're talking about an entire religious group and entire regions of people being rejected from the country solely on religious grounds, that's obviously hate, and that's transparently what that is. And a lot of people have been saying that, but I mean, it's still not reported widely as that, and I don't know that our customers in the community broadly see that. So I think it's important to call it what it is, and then to say everyone's welcome here, which is not and especially to say we support the Muslim community because they're the ones that are getting singled out.
Put on a sign that is really part of those philosophy and business philosophy that you have.
Sure. So the concept for the restaurant since day one has been to operate in a socially responsible way that's friendly for the community. So that's about what kind of products we buy. We always buy local and organic whenever possible. We keep track of all the purchases by dollars spent. It's generally around 90% of all of our purchases are local, organic, or fair trade. So we really want our dollars to have as much of a proactive, positive impact as we can. But it's also about how we treat employees, how we interact with the community, what we donate to, all these different kinds of things.
Help it to compare a small business like yours and your reaction to some of the hate rhetoric and the reaction of Mall of America to Black Lives Matter.
I mean, I think it's pretty different, but certainly there are some similarities. So the Mall of America, I think, is reasonably perceived as a public space. So I think when you have that, when you take public funding, and when you have some level of public access and public community meetings and public everything, and you're at the scale that they are, I think there is some level of responsibility to the community, and I think that it's like embracing the conversation, and even if they might disagree with it, saying, how can we be a home for a good conversation, and how can we, without negatively impacting the shopping experience that is our core mission, allow people to make a statement. I really think as a Jew, it's another level of, we grow up with a social justice bent, and one that's heavily informed by a long history of fear and hate against us, and of really terrible actions. I mean, with the extreme of the Holocaust, but like, thousands of years of history of that before that, all around the world. In some places worse than others, but I mean, that's part of the collective consciousness. So given that, I think for us, the not being silent on it wasn't really an option. The question was how we respond. And then the message was like, how do we say the right message? It's about, coming together to a degree about calling it what it is, which is saying hate has no business here, like calling it hate, but saying, having a positive message, which is we stand up and all are welcome here, saying we support the Muslim community, and then also more broadly saying all are welcome, we're here, especially in multiple languages. So it's like not just to someone who is completely engaged and maybe speaks English fluently and maybe won't know what the sign says, but hopefully something that someone who's just emigrated here and might live nearby, but hasn't really engaged fully and might not interact all that much with the white community. And
well, let's leave this with a concern that what Starbucks have done, getting involved in social, the corporation getting involved in social activism, was driven by a marketing opportunistic drive, and the campaign of Race Together failed miserably because they didn't think it through.
This wasn't a marketing attempt at all, so it's not like we thought about how exactly this would play out in a variety of ways. But, I mean, I was aware of that campaign, and, if you think about it, for me it's just really important to be authentic to who we are, to only speak about things we care about.
Entertain the idea, what if somebody like Donald Trump walk into your place and saw the sign? What would imagine the reaction?
I would be surprised if we had a good conversation. It is very much speaks in rhetoric and doesn't really speak in reality, and there's not much substance. I mean, it's very obvious when you start hearing him talk that like there's almost no substance.
Dan Schwartzmans, owner of Common Roots here, we're talking about his decision of putting a sign welcoming Muslim to his business, and not just a Muslim, all the community, and everybody's welcome here except hate. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Good luck with your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.